A Rainbow Chicken has recently made a return back to the JSE as a standalone entity. The company hatched from the RCL nest, listing last week, Wednesday, and had shares available to trade on Monday. Supporting what has been a 2-year unbundling strategy for the poultry producer is RMB. And joining me now to unpack RMB's role in this move and Rainbow's future is RMB's Dipeel Parbhoo. Thank you so much for your time, Dipeel. Actually, how long has RMB been on this journey with RCL and Rainbow? Because there's really been a big strategy overhaul over the years for RCL and Rainbow, actually.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. And good evening to you and to all the viewers. Great to be here. I mean, from an R&B perspective, we've been partnered with the broader RCL Foods group for a number of years, and it actually predates kind of the work that we've done around the strategic review. As you rightly point out, that process was concluded in around 2020, which is now quite 3.5 years ago. And ultimately, that concluded with the board of RCL Foods resolving to really refocus, where it wanted to go from a strategic perspective over the medium to long term. And where that led to was effectively the formal separation of its cold chain storage and logistics business, being Vector Logistics, and secondly, what we're talking about today being the integrated animal foods and poultry producer Rainbow. And kind of over the last few years, we've been working alongside both management teams at RCL Foods and Rainbow at a number of its businesses in order to help implement this. As I say, from a Rainbow perspective, importantly, the business was actually separated internally a number of years ago in late 2021. And what we really mean by that is, it's been operating fairly independently for a number of years across kind of the front end, finance, treasury, a management team that was effectively reporting into RCL Foods and the board. And so this is really the culmination of a number of years of hard work that's gone into this.
You're right. It actually does make sense that it first, kind of separated from the business internally, and then obviously now leading to this task of unbundling and separately listing. I mean, you taking on the role as the financial advisor for, a task that I don't think is a walk in the park. What are the key considerations here that you made to kind of make the transaction mutually beneficial for both RCL and Rainbow?
Absolutely. I mean, as an R&B business, we've worked not just across advisory, certainly across a number of different teams within the bank, both on the lending side, on transactional banking, on markets. And so really tried to deliver, call it a holistic offering to the client, because it isn't a simple process, as you rightly point out. I think, from a headline perspective, it's about ensuring that the businesses are set up for success in a standalone environment. Are they appropriately constituted? How do we refine the investment case and ensure that ultimately the business models are sustainable? And a lot of that is not stuff that we really do. It is down to the underlying management teams and to the businesses. And frankly, RMB is very privileged to work with a number of really great clients. RCL Foods and Rainbow being just two of them. But really, it is an incredibly in-depth process and does take some time. Importantly, in an environment like the one that we're currently operating in and have been for some time, with the consumer under pressure, significant macroeconomic challenges, capital structures are incredibly important, and ensuring that both businesses have been set up for success, as I say, in terms of having the right capital structure across long-term, short-term, and ultimately enabling those business models to continue on a sustainable basis.
Let's actually talk about that, the capital structure, setting up the business for success, particularly on a credit assistance level. What actually did you do in terms of lending your support to RCL and to Rainbow on this front?
Look, we certainly looked at it across both our long-term and our short-term lending business. From a Rainbow perspective, I think if you look at the sector, volatility is the name of the game, right? Whether it be commodity prices, exchange rates, etc. And as I say, these businesses need to be set up to weather the storm that inevitably comes. They can be incredibly successful when they hit a purple patch, and we all certainly hope that environment will come in the next few, hopefully, months and maybe years. But it is about what does it look like on the downside, where these businesses encounter that strong volatility and cyclicality. Part of the assessment and a core part of that is working together with the management teams to understand what are the core value drivers within the business, where are the small changes that could occur that impact the business from a financial perspective pretty significantly. And as I say, over a number of months, we've sat with the teams, worked through where their numbers are, and really looked at how does this business look today? How does it look on the downside? What does it look like on the upside? And that all goes into effectively ensuring that whatever packages we do put in place, both from a structural point of view, as I say, across both long-term and short-term debt, and the quantum thereof, is incredibly important. And as I say, there's very different fundamentals and characteristics between where RCL Foods is from a structural perspective today, excluding Rainbow, and Rainbow itself, obviously, as a more commodity-focused business.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, just talking about the cyclicality of that chicken business, you really need to tailor the packages in the correct way so that they can, manage all cycles. And just, looking at what you have made available in terms of the credit facilities to both RCL and Rainbow, what does that look like?
So from an RCL Foods perspective, the current debt package has been in place for some years, and RMB is one of the lenders in that package. It's a syndicated debt structure. As part of this transaction, our role was effectively, looking at extending that package for some time, and in due course, the group may look to then embark on a sort of broader refinancing of that debt. Into something that makes sense for the business as it's now structured post-Rainbow. From a Rainbow perspective, we've effectively extended a short-term / working capital facility to the value of 500 million. And really that's intended to act as an extension of the business's overall cash management process, support the business through the intra-month cash flow cycles in the ordinary course. As I've said, the businesses in this sector from a kind of agri and commodity cycle perspective don't lend themselves well to long-term debt, which can in many cases be quite inflexible and rigid. And flexibility is key for the management teams in order to make sure that they can run the business on a sustainable basis. So that really was our role from a Rainbow perspective.
Yeah, it's not all the time that we get behind the scenes insight. Thank you for that. Really, really appreciated, Dipeel. That was a corporate finance transactor at RMB, Dipeel Parbhoo.